You've beaten the classics everyone talks about, the mainstream hits, the safe recommendations. Now you're looking for what's next. RPGs that challenge differently, systems that reward depth, stories that don't hold back. These games aren't trying to be the next big thing. They're already great. You just haven't played them yet. Obsidian's historical murder mystery, set in 16th century Bavaria, is unlike anything else they've made. You play Andreas Mahler, an artist working on illuminated manuscripts while investigating murders that threaten the monastery and town of Tassing. The entire game unfolds like a living, illuminated manuscript. Hand-drawn art, period-appropriate fonts, and historical details so dense you'll learn more about medieval Europe than most history courses teach. The brilliance is in how choices matter without traditional RPG mechanics. There's no combat, no leveling, no inventory. Instead, you investigate by talking to townspeople, examining evidence, and making accusations based on incomplete information. Time passes as you pursue leads, locking you out of other conversations and clues. Andreas's background shapes dialogue options and investigation approaches. Choose artist training, and you notice visual details others miss. Legal education unlocks arguments based on church law. Every character creation choice ripples through the entire story. The writing is exceptional. Conversations feel authentic to the period without drowning in incomprehensible archaic language. Characters have depth, flawed, conflicted, human in ways that make judging them genuinely difficult. The murder mysteries don't have clean solutions. Where it loses people is pacing. This game is slow, deliberate, and text-heavy. There's also no action whatsoever. Success comes from observation and deduction. Before modern JRPGs chased cinematic realism, Grandia delivered pure adventure energy. You play Justin, a kid obsessed with exploring the world like his legendary father. The story starts small, childhood dreams and local ruins, then escalates into a globe-spanning journey involving ancient civilizations and lost technology. Combat is what makes Grandia special. The IP gauge system turns battles into active positioning puzzles where turn order matters more than raw stats. You can cancel enemy actions by hitting them during attack windup, forcing them back on the timeline. Movement during battle effects spell effectiveness and combo potential. Character progression rewards experimentation. Skills improve through use. Magic grows by equipping mana eggs, and weapon proficiency determines which abilities unlock. You're constantly tweaking builds based on enemies and strategies. The HD remaster improves visuals without destroying original art style. Sprites remain expressive, environments pop with color, and the orchestrated soundtrack still delivers emotional peaks. Voice acting in English has aged poorly in places, but you can switch to Japanese. Where it shows age is pacing. Dungeon layouts can feel repetitive. Random encounters happen frequently enough to annoy, and the story takes its time building toward major reveals. But Grandia captures something rare, genuine optimism and wonder. Justin's enthusiasm for exploration feels infectious rather than naive.
Please, everyone stay calm.
Obsidian took everything that worked in the first pillars and built something bigger. Deadfire trades continental politics for island-hopping piracy, giving you a ship, a crew, and an open ocean full of factions vying for control of the Deadfire archipelago. The writing here is some of Obsidian's best. Companion quests dive deep into personal trauma, faith, identity, and revenge without feeling like therapy sessions. Choices from the first game carry over and echo through dialogue years later. Factions remember betrayals and alliances. Real-time with pause combat gives granular control over positioning, spell timing, and ability combos. The multi-class system lets you blend any two classes into hybrid builds that feel genuinely unique. Ship-to-ship combat adds tactical layers where you manage broadsides, boarding actions, and crew morale. What separates this from other CRPGs is freedom of exploration. You can ignore the main quest for 30 hours, sail to random islands, discover hidden ruins, negotiate with indigenous tribes, or start pirate wars between trading companies. The pacing suffers in places. The opening drags before you reach the archipelago, and some find ship management tedious rather than engaging. Voice acting quality varies considerably. Still, Deadfire represents Obsidian at peak form. The philosophical debates, morally gray factions, and reactive storytelling respect player intelligence. This remastered tactical RPG legend rebuilt with quality-of-life improvements while keeping its soul intact. Set in war-torn Valerian Isles, you navigate political betrayal, class warfare, and moral decisions that ripple through an entire kingdom. The story explores themes most games avoid: religious manipulation, ethnic cleansing, revolution's cost, forcing you to pick sides with no clean answers. The remaster streamlines progression beautifully. Union level caps remove grinding tedium, letting you swap party members freely. Training mode exists for safe experience farming. Scout features preview enemy compositions, and the Charioteero system lets you rewind turns if things go sideways. Turn-based combat unfolds on grid maps where elevation, line of sight, and elemental terrain all affect outcomes. Over 50 classes offer tactical variety, and branching narrative changes dramatically based on choices during critical story moments. I've replayed sections just to see how different factions react when you betray or support them. Where opinions split is the battle system overhaul. The new card mechanic adds temporary stat buffs appearing randomly on maps, making fights feel uneven, sluggish until someone grabs the right buff, then suddenly explosive. Visually, remastered art leans towards smooth sprites rather than crisp pixels, which divides people. Fully voiced dialogue adds weight to dramatic scenes, and the re-recorded orchestral soundtrack elevates tension beautifully. This total conversion mod for Skyrim is more than a fan project. It's a full-length RPG that surpasses the base game in writing, world-building, and thematic cohesion. Set on the continent of Enderil, you play an amnesiac drawn to the city of Ark while ancient forces stir and civilization teeters on collapse. What separates Enderil from Skyrim is narrative focus. The story explores trauma, fate, cyclical destruction, and whether escape is possible when history repeats endlessly. Characters feel written with purpose rather than scattered across hundreds of radiant quests. I found myself genuinely invested in outcomes rather than just checking quest markers. Progression abandons Skyrim's skill-by-use system for class-based talent trees. You earn experience through quests and exploration, spending points to unlock abilities that define your playstyle. It removes exploit-heavy grinding while maintaining build variety. The world design is smaller than Skyrim, but denser. Every location has purpose, no copy-pasted dungeons filling space. Exploration rewards curiosity with handcrafted encounters and secrets that expand lore. The soundtrack is original, atmospheric, and emotionally resonant. Where it stumbles is technical jank inherited from Skyrim's engine. Bugs exist, performance can dip, and some systems feel clunky. Still, Enderil is proof that mods can transcend their source material. If you loved Skyrim's exploration but wanted writing that earned emotional investment, this delivers for free. Capcom's cult classic does things no other game attempts. You create a main character and a pawn, an AI companion you customize and train. Other players' pawns join your party, bringing knowledge from their worlds. Your pawn travels to other players' games, learns from adventures, and returns with new strategies. Combat is where Dragon's Dogma becomes unforgettable. You can climb massive enemies and attack weak points while they thrash violently. Spellcasters charge devastating magic that reshapes battlefields. The pawn system shines. Your companions learn enemy patterns, call out weaknesses, and adapt tactics based on repeated encounters. The class system encourages experimentation. You can switch vocations anytime, carrying over learned abilities to create hybrid builds. Progression feels earned because mastering each class unlocks skills benefiting other playstyles. Gear matters enormously. Weight affects stamina. Elemental resistances determine survival. Night exploration is genuinely dangerous. Darkness isn't just aesthetic. You need lanterns to see, and powerful enemies emerge after sunset. Getting caught far from town at night creates tension rare in open-world games. Where it frustrates is quest design and fast travel limitations. Many quests lack clear direction, leading to aimless wandering. Limited fast travel forces long walks between locations. The story takes a while to get interesting, but Dragon's Dogma offers combat depth games still haven't matched. Owlcat Games took everything from Kingmaker and made it bigger, stranger, more ambitious. You're leading a crusade against demon armies pouring through the world wound, making military decisions that shape entire regions while managing companions, mythic powers, and a war that's been losing for generations. The Mythic Path system sets this apart. Around level 3, you choose a transformation fundamentally changing your character. Angel, Demon, Lich, Azada, Trickster, and more. Each path offers unique abilities, story branches, and completely different approaches. Playing as a Lich lets you raise undead armies. The Azada path embraces chaotic, good freedom fighting. These reshape the entire narrative. Combat uses Pathfinder tabletop rules with real-time with pause or turn-based options. Encounter design is brutally challenging, demanding proper buff stacking, positioning, and counter strategies. I've spent hours optimizing party compositions to overcome specific encounters. The Crusade management layer adds strategic depth. You command armies, build outposts, research technologies, and make resource allocation decisions while demons constantly push back. Some players love the complexity. Others mod it out entirely. Where it stumbles is bugs at launch and overwhelming complexity. The number of feats, spells, and character options can paralyze new players. Quest design occasionally suffers from unclear objectives, but Wrath offers depth modern RPGs rarely attempt. This remaster of the 2012 action RPG finally gives the game deserved attention. You're the Fateless One, resurrected without a destiny in a world where fate controls everything. That freedom from predetermined outcomes becomes the core mechanic. Your choices genuinely shape the world because you exist outside fate's rules. Combat is where Amalur shines. It blends hack-and-slash fluidity with RPG depth, letting you switch between weapon types mid-combo. You can parry, dodge roll, juggle enemies, and chain abilities with timing-based execution that rewards skill. The Destiny system is brilliant. Instead of locking into classes, you mix points across might, finesse, and sorcery trees to create hybrid builds. Invest equally in melee and magic, and you unlock unique destinies tailored to that combination. Respecking is always available, encouraging experimentation. The remaster improves quality of life. Better loot distribution, rebalanced difficulty, improved camera controls, and included DLC expansions adding dozens more hours. Visually, it's sharper without losing the vibrant art style. The weakness is quest design. Side quests often boil down to fetch tasks or clear this dungeon objectives, lacking narrative weight. The world is gorgeous, but exploration can feel unrewarding when discoveries just lead to generic loot. Still, Amalur offers something rare, genuinely fun action RPG combat in a high fantasy setting that doesn't take itself too seriously. Long before Persona became mainstream, SMT Nocturne was perfecting dark apocalyptic storytelling and punishing turn-based combat. Tokyo gets swallowed by the conception, a cosmic event transforming the world into a demon-infested wasteland where ideologies battle for the right to shape reality itself. You're the demi-fiend, a half-demon survivor navigating this new Tokyo while powerful figures try convincing you to support their vision for the reborn world. The philosophical debates hit hard. Questions about nihilism, individualism, collectivism, and whether humanity deserves salvation. No answer feels entirely right. Press-turn combat is brutally elegant. Exploiting enemy weaknesses grants extra turns. Missing or hitting resistances costs turns. Every encounter becomes a puzzle where knowing enemy patterns and adapting your demon roster determines survival. Demon Fusion is the progression system. You recruit demons through negotiation, sometimes reasonable, often bizarre, then fuse them into stronger forms. Building the perfect team creates this satisfying loop of experimentation and optimization. The HD remaster adds voice acting, improved textures, and quality of life features like suspend saves and difficulty options. Merciful mode exists for players who want story without brutal difficulty. Where it might lose people is minimalist storytelling. The game trusts you to piece together lore from environmental details rather than explaining everything explicitly. Dungeons are long, maze-like, and filled with random encounters. From the creators of Age of Decadence comes something that feels like classic Fallout reimagined on a generation ship hurtling toward Proxima Centauri. Except nobody believes they'll ever reach it anymore. The ship is decaying, factions war over scraps, and you're born into this floating tomb with no choice but to survive. What struck me about Colony Ship is how interconnected everything is. Every quest ties to another. Kill someone in Act 1, and an entire questline vanishes 20 hours later. Side with one faction and watch opportunities close while new ones crack open. The game treats consequences like dominoes. You push one, and the whole chain collapses in ways you won't see coming. Combat runs on turn-based tactics where positioning, cover, and targeting specific body parts all matter. You can cripple enemy legs to slow movement or disable arms to ruin accuracy. Skills improve through use rather than manual allocation, so specialization happens organically based on how you play. The difficulty does not apologize for being hard. Encounters punish poor planning brutally, resources stay scarce, and builds that spread stats too thin get demolished. The writing leans toward dry political maneuvering rather than dramatic character arcs. Still, Colony Ship earns respect by trusting players to figure things out. The ship feels like a living ecosystem of conflicting interests where your choices genuinely reshape what's possible.
Running silent.
After 24 years, the legendary tactical series finally returned with a proper sequel. You're hired to rescue a kidnapped president in fictional African nation Grand Chien, recruiting mercenaries with distinct personalities, quirks, and combat specializations to complete missions however you see fit. The Merc roster is the heart of everything. Each character is fully voiced with traits affecting dialogue and gameplay. Meltdown has a psycho trait, making her tell NPCs to drop dead without your input. Their banter during missions adds personality that makes losses feel genuinely painful when someone gets killed. Turn-based combat is brutal and unpredictable. The game refuses to show hit percentages, forcing you to assess situations based on cover, range, and weapon type. You can spend action points to increase aim, target specific body parts, or use explosives to destroy walls and create new angles. Strategic layer management adds depth beyond firefights. You assign squads to sectors, train militia to defend liberated towns, repair equipment, and manage finances while the Legion pushes back. Where it stumbles is AI inconsistency. Enemies sometimes behave suicidally, charging into Overwatch fire for no reason. The opening hours lack proper tutorials for non-combat systems. But when everything clicks, executing a flawless ambush with coordinated Overwatch, rescuing hostages without casualties, Few tactical games match that satisfaction.
Moving, as of this moment.